Hello and welcome back to another video on my channel. I hope everyone's doing good and I hope everyone is doing well. The much anticipated Algeria squad has finally been released. It was released this morning, Saturday morning, just 6 days prior to Algeria's upcoming match. Genuinely one of the latest squad announcements. Well, to be honest, we're used to it by now. It's always one of the last ones. We have to read everyone else's squad in international football before the Algeria one comes around. So we've got about 24-25 names to talk about today. Before we delve into the names selected, we always look at, as ever, if you've been a regular viewer, who's not been selected as also a cause for debate. So in goal, we haven't got Rice and Bolhi. Now, he has only recently joined a club in the Saudi second division, but is this a sign that Rice and Bolhi's days could be over, particularly with the fine form of Anthony Mandrea? But to be honest, Belmadi seems to have not picked anyone that's either not playing regularly or hasn't got a club, basically, because we've got players like Faguli. Guardiola has barely been playing recently, apart from that little contract he signed. So players like Faguli, you won't see them here, Gulam. But there is some interesting ones that have been selected in this squad. The big talking point in terms of who's not here is Ait-Nouri, Yassine Adli, Houssam Aouar, Michael Olise, maybe. Now, if we're honest about it, we've all seen the press, the articles, the journalists. Olise was very much probably near on not going to happen. Aouar seems like it will happen, just not now. There's no need to bring Aouar to play two friendlies. If Algeria, I've said many times, if Algeria had qualified for the World Cup, you'd see so many new different names. But some people think that's a negative in itself, that they should come and want to play for Algeria whenever and not just for a FIFA World Cup. Ait-Nouri and Adli are the two main ones. These are two players that over the summer did change their sporting nationality through FIFA from France to Algeria, which made them both eligible for selection. I think even Aouar's done that as well. Now, for whatever reason, Adli, I think, has even maybe said in an interview that he's switched, but he's not ready to come yet. And I think that's the same with Ray and Ait-Nouri, because these players as well, they're not in the France under-21 squad. That one's got Amin Ghouri in it, it's got Rayan Cherki in it, but the likes of Ait-Nouri, Adli, Olise, they're not in the France under-21 squad. So we see, if we play a game in November, maybe, like if we play a game in November, particularly a game in Europe, like in Marseille or in Lille again, then I'm pretty sure you could probably expect them to turn up for that. So I wouldn't panic, and it's not two key games that you need those players for. But anyway, let's jump into the squad we have got. And Anthony Mandrea looks like he could be the new number one, but he is the youngest of the goalkeepers. He's probably in his prime at the moment. And Ukija and Zugba, who have been great servants to the Algerian national team, have never really quite been the number one goalkeeper. Ukija sent off in his last game for Metz. Zugba playing at not a great level, but still a good keeper. You saw his penalty save a few months ago. But I would like to see Anthony Mandrea given a go as the new number one. And when there is qualification, competitive games, tournaments, then I would bring in Rice and Bolhi there as a number two. But Mandrea can learn so much from Rice and Bolhi. That's so much he can learn. And I think make Bolhi the goalkeeping coach eventually one day, and you'll reap the rewards of it. But Mandrea's in there. He probably will give a bit of game time to Ukija and Zugba because it's friendly games, and it's a nice gesture from the manager. So into the defence, and we've got three right-backs again. We've got Yusuf Attal, of course, who did get injured, but it wasn't a big injury, thankfully, so he's available for selection, as is Akim Zadudka, as is Hossein Baniada, who recently went to the Moroccan league, which is probably one of the best leagues in Africa, and of course the home of the current African CAF Champions League champions. So why are we taking three right-backs again? It's given me a bit of traumatic PTSD of the Cameroon games where we had no players that could actually play left-back, but a lot of players that could play in the right-back position. So three right-backs to choose from. Only Bentabeni is the out-and-out left-back in this squad. But because Touba is here, I'd probably say Touba will be maybe used as a bit of a left-back if needed as well. Maybe switched in-game as a backup left-back to Bentabeni, because Touba can play very well in that left-back position. He played there actually against Cameroon when he came on. He played left wing back, in fact. So a very versatile, talented player, doing great things at Başakşehir. Yanis Hamash not here. He actually went to Ukraine, been playing in the Conference League. He's actually been playing as a left winger since he's gone to Dnipro in Ukraine. So Hamash at left wing in the UEFA Europa Conference League. But again, you expect when you just see Remy Bentaleb there that Array and Ait-Nouri there really does strengthen that left back position when he does come in, hopefully. And at centre back, of course, you've got Tuba, who is his main position. You've got Samandi. You've got Badalain, who is in Saudi Arabia at not even one of the good clubs, with respect, in Saudi Arabia, still being called up. Speaks volumes about the limited options we have at the back. I think Tugai, contrastingly, is a very good option and one for the future. And I'd love to see Tugai to move to Belgium, Holland, France, one of those leagues in January or next summer. I think he's capable. I think you've seen Ashraf Dari do it, and I think Tugai deserves to be playing in Europe. And Tugai and Tuba are probably the future centre halves of this national team for the next few years, for the next few tournaments, for the next few qualifiers. So, although Mandy is talented, he's not starting in the Liga for Villarreal, and I want to see Tugai and Tuba form a twosome partnership at the back. So that's the Algeria defence, and of course the likes of Belmadi, not here of course. Belmadi is quite old now, but he is playing in the Middle East once again. Midfield, the big talking point here is again probably, although we've said about Adli and Awar etc. not being here, NABIL BENTALEB. Now, for me, BENTALEB sounds like a real throwback. Can you believe BENTALEB's only 27? He's only 27. It feels like he's been around forever. He's one of the youngest players in the squad. Bloody hell. But BENTALEB is back, got his career back on track. Didn't work out when he went on loan for me to Newcastle. Went to Angers in France, picked up the captain's armband, done very well in Liga. So NABIL BENTALEB does return to the Algeria squad. And this isn't a player that you need to test, bed in. We know all about him. We know what he can do. Of course, he had that famous partnership with Taider many years ago now, it seems. So BENTALEB back in the setup. Obviously, the manager has let go a bit of his stubbornness, so we're going to see NABIL BENTALEB hopefully. No Haris Belkebla. I think it's very harsh on Belkebla. He's been good at Brestois in Liga this season. I would have taken Belkebla over Badawi, particularly because Badawi hasn't had that many games. He's missed a few games. He hasn't started that many games. Belkebla started pretty much most games this season in the French league. I would have taken Belkebla over Badawi. Adam Zorgan's still here. Don't know why. Again, it's just my opinion, not the biggest fan. From what I've seen, he's not a player that's going to win you trophies and get you to World Cups. But the usual suspects are here. Benassa, Zarouki, expect them to probably start together. And then you've got, of course, the likes of Sofian Bendubka in there as well, with Hichem Badawi, with NABIL BENTALEB, and of course, the new name from CRB, Hussam Mrazig. Now, Mrazig was actually playing for Algeria under Bagheera as part of that Arab Cup midfield, and of course went on to win the tournament. And he actually played in that centre midfield area with Bendubka, a young player for the future. Mrazig is a player that I do like, and I was impressed in what I saw in Qatar nearly a year ago actually. So that's the centre midfield. And then we look at the attacking spots. We always seem to get two left-sided players and two right-sided players. Now on the left it's Belali and it's Bilal Brahimi, who has been past fit to enter this squad, which of course actually means that Saïd Benrahma is not called up for Algeria. That's again another big talking point. I just genuinely think Belmadi doesn't fancy him. On the paper, you look at the statistics, he's done okay. He scored a couple of goals this season. He's been one of West Ham's better players. But for him to not go, I think is going to be a bit detrimental to the relationship between Belmadi and Benrahma going forwards. So it's weird because you've got a player at a good team in the Premier League, a player that of course I watch a lot of, and he can't get in an Algeria squad that's ageing and needs fresh players. So that's the coach's decision, and I do suppose you have to ultimately respect it. On the right, Riyad Mahrez and Adam Munoz. Of course, Adam Munoz finally looks like he's going to be getting regular game time playing on that right-hand side. And Riyad Mahrez, of course, the captain-elect. Not the best start to the season for Man City for Riyad Mahrez, particularly some of the starts he had. The start against Dortmund, when he got hauled off, wasn't impressed at all. So those are the players on the right. Of course, Gazelle is injured, so he can't be a part of this team. And up front, again, another big talking point. You've got Amora. You've got Slimani at 34 now, is it? Still involved. Still looks like Slimani. Slimani BENTALEB. Oh, it's like the good old days. And probably the biggest thing in terms of quality, Andy Delort, over a year out of the Algeria team. Belmadi said, while I'm coach, he will never play again. Now, have you ever seen a player take part in an apology video on a Football Federation website. Delort sat in front of a camera and apologised to the Algerian people, right, saying, I want to come back. Now, he actually said there was more to it than we know. He said it wasn't just about the whole club football with Nice. It was also he had a few family issues that he wanted to be excused for, and that he didn't communicate that with Belmadi. And from the outside looking in, it didn't look as good. But I've maintained on his channel through the whole time, big fan of Delort. If you want to get to tournaments, if you want to win trophies, you need your best players, and that's why Delort's back in the squad, because some of the firepower Algeria have missed. And you look at the statistics from the Cameroon games and how many shots we actually had in comparison to Cameroon. Delort would have at least got a brace in those games, particularly the miss Belmadi had in the first half of the second leg. So Delort is back. He had to apologise. Whether that was an order from Belmadi, said if you want to come back you've got to apologise. If so, and he's done it, you've got to respect Delort for doing it, because he doesn't have to do it. If you tell someone to apologise, they can always go, no, I don't want to. He's done that. He's done everything in his power to get back in this squad, to make that striker shirt his, and now the likes of Bounedjah, Yassine Brahimi are not in this squad anymore. What an opportunity for Andy Delort to make that striker shirt number 9 his. Up front, banging in goals. First game in Oran, if Delort gets 1 or 2 against Guinea and another one against Nigeria, you're just going to feel guilty that you never backed him, and you're going to feel annoyed, because if you had him, you'd have probably gone to the World Cup in 2 months' time with a star striker, with Aouar and Adli behind him. But anyway, that is the Algeria squad for the Guinea-Nigeria games. Let me know a rating out of 10 in the comments down below of what you feel about this squad. And of course, Algeria, 3 games in a row. They are unbeaten if you want to start going down that road again as we play Guinea on Friday. There'll be lots of build up to that game. We've got Belmadi's press conference coming up as well. But drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more. I'll see you next time.